is your weekly celestial forecast for the week beginning May 8th, 2023. So on Monday, we have the moon in late Sagittarius squaring off with nebulous Neptune. So the feeling here on Monday is about confusion, maybe a little deception, not a good time to keep secrets from each other, or there may be a little bit of confusion in the air regarding secrets from others or hidden or unknown information. So this is the time not to sign any contracts or have any important negotiations. And to add to that, we also have Mercury retrograde now continuing until the 14th, connected with the North Node in Taurus. And as always, the North Node and the South Node are very sensitive points. So we are feeling with this connection with the communicator Mercury kind of touchy or extremely sensitive right now, especially since the South Node is opposing Mercury. So our communications may be a little bit mixed up or confusing. This is the time you want to speak very clearly. And the sun is in Taurus at 17 degrees and making a near exact conjunction with the planet of shock and the unexpected, the unusual Uranus. So right now we could hear about some natural disasters, unexpected weather changes over the next week, and that includes unexpected what? Conflicts and bullying. So this is the time we don't want to get into any serious disagreements, and especially any unexpected conflicts or anything connected with groupthink, groups, social anything, social media, you name it. This is the day that we want to look at the other side of Taurus and be more of a peacemaker and enjoy some downtime or relaxation, or really looking to some peace of mind on Monday. That is the good side of the sign of Taurus. Just kind of taking it easy and meditate. And especially since the depositor here now with Taurus Sun and Uranus is now Venus, the planet of love, in Cancer at 1 degree. So we are feeling rather homey. We want to protect and give security. We want that sense of connection and security, protection also from our loved ones in any form of relationship. And it's a good time for doing anything with this Cancer, even Mars in Cancer, Venus in early Cancer, Sun, Mercury, even even Uranus in Taurus. It's a good time to kind of be focused on repairs, our physical abode, home, family, that word again, security, anything to do with possibly even food or culinary now, because this will also be paramount, as with anything to do with banking, because we still have a Taurus stellium with the North Node, Mercury, Sun, and Uranus. And Jupiter, although it's in late Aries now, it somewhat has a bit of a Taurus feel to it, because soon Jupiter is going to headlong into the sign of Taurus as well. So that may prove a surplus for anything connected with banking, our money, investments, especially dealing with real estate now, all good things once Jupiter enters Aries connected with monetary, you name it. So let's look at the next day, which is Tuesday. And that is May 9th. And the moon is in restrictive Capricorn now. And its depositor is Saturn in Pisces, although somewhat early at 5 degrees. So there's a sweet sextile with its own ruler. So that's good. So Tuesday is all about hard work, this sense of responsibility, kind of overdoing it at the office or wherever you are working. Very focused time. Almost restricted in our efforts. But with the moon in responsible structure, Capricorn, we may have a tendency on Tuesday to look at the gloomy side of things. We may be a little bit pessimistic on Tuesday because we may feel we have a bit of some burdens and additional responsibilities that we will have to take on. So on Tuesday, this is a time to try to be, if you can, a little bit more positive. Yes. And we've got Jupiter still in late Aries, and within the next day and a half, Jupiter will move to square off the moon in Capricorn. However, there is going to be an applying here over the next day, a sweet trine to the Sun and Uranus in Taurus. So what is Taurus and what is Capricorn? They are earth signs. So it's all about what? It's about our money, about the future, about our investments, but equally, especially with Taurus and especially with Capricorn, it's about the powers that be. However, with this sweet trine or applying trine, I should say, coming up on Tuesday, there may be some good financial news or some good new information about leaders, leaderships, the powers that be, especially leaders with connections with Jupiter and Aries, which is connected with the first house. So this is all going to be the talk around Tuesday and Wednesday. Also, this may deal with powers that be, like companies, large businesses, corporations, you name it. Yes, even banking or investment firms or anything that connects real estate with money. So look for that on Tuesday, but do be cautious about investments because Mercury is still retrograde, and especially with the North Node, this is a time to do some background investigating if you want to invest in the future. But if you can, hold off until June for taking action and moving forward with all money matters or background projects. So we now will look forward to the next day, and that is on Wednesday, and it is now the 10th of May, and the moon is further along in the sign of Capricorn and applying later on and into Thursday, a conjunction with powerful Pluto. Yes, indeed. So starting late Wednesday, we're going to have a sense that there's more interference or more communications with those in authority. Anyone and anyone, perhaps those that are dealing with management, the powers that be, all kinds of authorities, courts, law, you name it. And because the moon is building to this conjunction with powerhouse Pluto, we may hear about certain authorities or leaderships now, especially because there's a square off with Jupiter, which is connected with the first house leaders and leadership, with the powers that be kind of overstepping their bound, or an excess of force, or a need or not a need, too much for force, whatever the case may be. And especially since we have this connection with Uranus and the sun in bully Taurus. Yes. And we still have the North Node and retrograde Mercury in the sign of Taurus, and now making out of sign conjunctions with lucky Jupiter. So on Tuesday and Wednesday, it's all going to be about power and power plays. So on Wednesday, although there are some very fine aspects with the trines, with Uranus, Sun, and the Moon, and there's going to be a conjunction and out of sign conjunction with the North Node. And that's very fortunate for money indeed, with Taurus, the sign of money. Also, we cannot ignore that Taurus is with Uranus. Yes, and the moon is in Capricorn, so there could be sudden conflicts, although at least in this case with the sweet trine, some of those conflicts now may be tempered with a little Earth, Capricorn, and Taurus sensibility. And equally, Venus, the planet of love and affection, is also early on in the sign of Cancer, making an out of sign sextile with Jupiter. So this only adds to the money pot of protection, security, planning for our future, saving for a rainy day, you name it. And equally, some of our investments or our money and security may also pay off right now with Venus in Cancer, Jupiter out of sign, making a sextile to sweet Jupiter. And this is also good for affection as well, because that's what Jupiter is about. It's about love. And with Jupiter almost into Taurus, well, as we further on this week, it will be a great time to express to your loved ones much in the way of kindness, love, you name it. Yes, much in abundance. There's much in the way of good news with money and finances this week, at least Tuesday and Wednesday. Just watch out for any unexpected conflicts. And looking ahead, we are looking forward a day to May 11th now. It is Thursday, and the moon is just past the connection with Pluto, powerful Pluto. So with that connection, come Wednesday, maybe even Tuesday, Wednesday, going into Thursday, there's a lot with leaders, leadership, and on a more mundane and personal level. This deals with personal authorities, managers, supervisors. This isn't the time that you want to get into any conflicts, that's for sure, because not only is the moon applying a conjunction Wednesday and then making and surpassing the conjunction with Pluto on Thursday, the depositor is Uranus with the sun, and the moon is now in square off with the North Node and Mercury, so our communications might be a little topsy-turvy on Thursday, or certainly unusual and unexpected with regards to arguments or conflicts. But we also have Uranus with the sun in Taurus. So yes, there's that theme again, as stated earlier, about earthquakes and the like come Thursday, and especially as we head into Friday, as the moon furthers into the sign of Aquarius. But as stated, additionally, this is the time, if there are conflicts with those that are authorities of some type. This is the time that you don't want to get involved with the tit for tat or the disagreements. Take a hint from the moon, and Pluto barely is there in Aquarius and retrograde. This is a time you want to express your originality, your unique self. This is the time for what? Humanity, because we've got this connection with Aquarius, and there's going to be something that comes up late Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday that affects the masses. Yes, indeed, some news that could be kind of unexpected that affects the internet, social media, computers, technology, AI, you need it. You name it, come Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Could it be something from space as well with Aquarius? Well, possibly. But this is a time we want to be on the lookout for the unknown or the unexpected, wherever that may be. But no matter what, this is the time to be calm and focused. Yes. And also, Saturn is making a sweet trine now to sweet relationship oriented Venus. And with Saturn there, that's good with the trine because it gives us this sense of responsibility with home and family, all relationships of all types. It's about really expressing your love and thoughts to your sweetheart, your relationships, no matter who they may be, because with this trine, this is very grounding for both love and Saturn, the karmic and responsibility planet. Yes, but a good time to think more seriously about love and the future. And we also have with Mars, busy time on Thursday and this week with all these transits in major aspects. We also have Mars, the planet of action, making a trine to what? Yes, Neptune. So this is very good. At the end of the week, maybe midweek, we may uncover some unknown information. Why? Because there is now a trine between Neptune and Mars. So earlier there was the square off with the moon in Sagittarius on Monday, but whatever was confusing and or hidden by the end of the week will become much more well known and more something that we can react on and have more clarity about. Now, for most of the week, however, from Monday to Sunday, Neptune is going to make the trine with Mars. But because of earlier in the week on Monday, the moon was in Sagittarius, there was confusion. But now that we've got this sweet sextile with not much in the way of confusion or negative aspects in the way, at the end of the week, we are now looking at much more clarity by week's end. Yes, indeed. And let's look ahead, by the way, to the end of the week at the start of the weekend, and it is May 12th, and the moon is furthering along in the sign of Aquarius. But we cannot omit the fact that Pluto, although even barely there in Aquarius and retrograde especially, and the moon is still in Aquarius, and the depositor is still Uranus with the sun. So on one hand, this is really great because we get to express our originality. It's very good for showing off a little bit our unique self, really good for some artistic endeavors, especially with this trine with Mars and Neptune. So that's the positive of the moon in Aquarius with Uranus with the sun. It's a great time to really express who we are. But it is the deposit of the moon, so on Friday even, yes, unexpected events may occur, especially connected with some interesting topic connected with our humanity, our unity, technology of all kinds, you name it. We might come to a standstill at the start of the weekend connected with all these matters. But always keep in mind for this somewhat uncertain week that it's always about taking a light touch and really trying to keep the peace and looking at the trines, especially from Neptune to Mars, the planet of action. This is a time we want to just meditate and not get into any disagreements. And especially in turn, Mars is making now a sextile to the sun. And this is very positive indeed. So that gives us kind of a shot of confidence come Friday, and the need with Venus and Saturn, even in all relationships, the need for hard work and focus. And with that, that's what we should take for the next several days between Wednesday and Friday, or next few days between Wednesday and Friday, the start of the weekend, is when things get a little bit topsy-turvy and group conflicts or issues with AI, tech, who knows, maybe even space, social, anything. The internet is to look to these wonderful, creative, sensitive aspects with Mars and Neptune and even Jupiter headlonging into the connection now at 29 degrees on Friday to the North Node and Mercury. So that's a plus here. We're feeling like at least some of our efforts with work, especially with saving money or making money, is especially positive by Friday. So let's look ahead to the next day, which is Saturday now. Yes, indeed. And the moon is making an exact conjunction to Saturn. However, Saturn, yes, is the planet of karma and hard work and responsibility, but it's also the planet of restriction. And Saturn is in the very watery sign of Pisces with the moon in Pisces. And what is that about? So come Saturday, maybe even on Sunday, as the moon applies a conjunction with Neptune, or early Monday of next week, this could be a bit of an issue with water. And we're talking possibly a restriction or a lack of water, or some issue connected with oil, water, minerals, you name it. That could be weather related anomalies. It could also be connected with waterways, you name it, especially with the moon connecting up with restrictive Saturn. So be very leery of anything connected with water. And this also, what does it also do? On a more literal level, the moon with Saturn is what? It's about our emotions. And especially since we've got sweet, sensitive, caring Venus in Cancer now making a trine to the moon. So on one hand, that's extremely positive on Saturday for our emotions, a wonderful, wonderful time to express our love and affection to those nearest and dearest to us. But on one hand, we've got this sense of responsibility. And although we feel dutiful, that's for sure, with love, with Saturn, moon, and trining Venus in Cancer, it's also a time when we may feel, well, duty may override our emotions. But that that's not so bad because the moon is in very emotional Pisces trining Venus in Cancer. Yes. And on a more wider version here, we've got Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So, what is that additionally for Saturday? Yes, that water grand trine involving Venus, the planet of love, in Cancer, the south node, that is, let me correct that, the south node in Scorpio, and the moon Saturn in Pisces, a sweet water grand trine. So although we're feeling rather dutiful, maybe even commitment oriented in love on Saturday, with this sweet grand trine involving the south node in Scorpio, moon, Saturn, and Venus in Cancer, we are feeling, yes, rather dutiful and commitment, future oriented, but it's a very sweet, sensitive aspect. And water is always connected with that which deals with medical, medicine. So there could be some kind of good news connected in the world of medical or medicine, whether that's holistic, standard, it is alternative, you name it on Saturday. But it's a good news for us personally connected with our health, diet, nutrition, and so on, and just a really good feeling connection with our emotions. Yes, indeed, especially since with the North Node and Mercury gets in there with a sweet sextile to the Moon and Saturn, and also the uh, with Venus in Cancer. So let's look forward another day. So Saturday is just an all-around feel-good day, and that's good because of the uncertain week again. So let's look forward until Sunday. Now we come officially to the last day of the week, and the moon is in Pisces, applying a conjunction with what? Nebulous Neptune. Yes, a little bit of a deceiver. And so that issue with water will still apply on Sunday. So either the lack of water or the overabundance of water, whether that be connected with waterways, whether it be with all forms of water, you name it. But that can also lend, on the other hand, a big connection with what? With our emotions on Sunday. So there may be something that comes about, especially since Saturn is in restrictive Pisces as well. So something on Sunday may be left over from a few days ago when the moon was in Aquarius is really going to grab our attention with our emotions, our need to be compassionate, our need to heal ourselves and each other on Sunday. And it's also extremely spiritual as well. So this is a good time on Sunday to meditate, metaphysical, all spiritual issues, kind of like a strong day for strong introspection on Sunday, going within, doing some serious soul searching, and just kind of taking it easy on this Sunday, May the 8th. And also, there are some wonderful aspects here connected with the moon. Yes, at 20 degrees of Pisces, applying a sweet sextile to both the North Node and the communicator of Mercury in Taurus. So that kind of helps to kind of act like a band-aid on Sunday, especially with that North Node in Taurus with Mercury in Taurus as well. Even with Mercury retrograde to our communications. So on Sunday, our communications will go from earlier in the week a little bit rocky or uncertain to very smoothed over. And what we say and what we do now on Sunday is going to have a very strong effect on each other. And so this is a good time, as stated before in the week, also for expressing our feelings, our emotions, our compassion. It's about healing each other, especially with the North Node there, the communicator, even retrograde Mercury. And that is what Sunday is going to be about. It's a day of healing. And especially now that we've now got the moon applying a closer, trying to action oriented Mars. Yes, so this is only adding to some healing. It's a wonderful time, almost on Sunday, a good day for love and romance. And this can't be all but too good. Yes. And also, there is an out of sign square off, however, between Jupiter now at 29 degrees, now critical, and still 0 degrees, and very tough retrograde powerhouse Pluto. So in all this happiness come Sunday, you could say we do have that square off between the exaggerative, however lucky and fortunate Jupiter in late Aries and Pluto in Aquarius. So there's still some more news about the powers that be, and we have to be careful, especially at the critical degrees 29 and Jupiter at Aries connected with leaderships, not to get into any power plays, especially with Pluto and retrograde Aquarius now. And the depositor is Uranus and with the sun. So although Sunday is really a wonderful and blessed, happy day emotionally, maybe even love-wise, well, as far as it deals with authorities, powers that be, especially the sense of really wanting to take over and exaggerate our thoughts and what we have to say, we will have to not overstep our bounds on Sunday, because who knows, we might be feeling so good and so loving on Sunday and so sensitive that we may feel it's okay to do what we want to do, and we feel, especially with this square off almost exact with powerhouse Pluto lurking in there. And we cannot forget that it's still about the unexpected connected with Uranus and the sun. As good as we are feeling on Sunday, it's not the time to exaggerate or overstep our bounds. Or what is Jupiter about? It's about luck, prosperity, or go overboard with our spending as well on this last day of the week. And so that's the secret here, is this week, because it is a mixed bag, is to just stay calm when all lets loose this week in a little bit of a negative fashion, or there's social conflicts. It's the time to take a hint from all this water connection, although it may be uncertain for literal water or oil. But emotionally, it is a time to really express how we feel, especially with the emphasis with Venus and Mars in Cancer, and this sense heightened of love with Uranus, the sun, in Taurus. However, if we keep a check on our spending, our exaggerations, and even unexpected conflicts, well, this week, starting on May 8th, will indeed be much more beneficial and productive.